Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, or good night, or good morning, wherever you are. For me, it is currently about 11 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm feeling very sleepy. And I think making this video might make me even sleepier, but that's okay because I am going to go to bed right after this video, and I'm very excited. So today I am coming to you with a soft-spoken requested Q&A video. I want to say thank you so much to the people that have already subscribed to my channel. It really does mean a lot. And thank you so much to the two people who commented questions for me and who suggested I do a Q&A video. I love watching these videos, mostly because I just love rambly ASMR videos. So I'm very excited to do one of my own. And since I'm filming on my phone, I wrote out the questions. And there's a decent amount of questions to get through. So without further ado, I'm going to start with the first commenter, and their username is New Year New You 23. I love that username. I also just want to say real quick that I am not used to using soft-spoken voice that much. I feel like I'm more of a whisperer, but I like the soft-spoken voice. But please excuse me if I at any point break into a whisper or momentarily break into full voice, but I'm going to try my hardest to stick to the soft-spoken. Okay, thank you. And also I'm recovering from a cold, so just, I might have to clear my throat every now and then. I had some water. I don't know where it went, but last video I got very thirsty, and I think that might happen again this video because apparently I forgot my water. Not thinking ahead. Okay, so the first question was if I had any favorite TV shows. So the answer is kind of two parts. Favorite TV shows that I watch, all the time would be like The Office, Parks and Rec I love, New Girl. Obviously these shows are like more than 10 years old, so, they're oldies, but they're so like, they're comfort shows, as, people like to call it. I'm also a big Seinfeld fan. That's kind of like my going to sleep show. I also love Friends. I grew up watching Friends, not really Seinfeld. And I got into Seinfeld as I got older, so I like that show a lot. It takes a lot for me. I shouldn't say it takes a lot for me, but I'm kind of resistant to watching new shows because I love going back and watching the shows I'm used to. But I will say that I did recently watch a show called Painkiller on Netflix, and it's a little bit depressing, I'm not gonna lie. It's about like the opioid crisis and just how horrible that is, but it is like a drama. It is scripted, despite the fact that it's based on like true things, and that was really, really good. That was probably one of the best shows I've seen in the last year. I also I love Sopranos. Big Sopranos fan. I watched the first season of White Lotus, and I really loved that. So I feel like you can't go wrong with HBO. There's so much good television on HBO. There's Sex and the City and Sopranos, and Friends is on there now, so a lot of good stuff. Okay, moving on to question 2, which is favorite YouTubers, which I'm going to kind of interpret as favorite ASMR YouTubers, because to be honest, I don't really watch much YouTube that's not ASMR. I'll watch the occasional vlog, or I'll like look up something if it interests me and if there's a video. I do watch one YouTuber named Louise Pentland. She's probably the most consistent, the person that I watch their videos most consistently that is not a ASMR artist. She just kind of does like life blogs, mom blogs, that kind of thing, just a day in the life, her life. So I also just sometimes will throw on like, you know, best SNL skits or old SNL skits. That's kind of fun to watch, so that's good background. But in terms of ASMR artists, I will say I have a couple favorites. Gentle Whispering ASMR, Maria. She is just my favorite. She is just amazing. I love her accent. I'm big on accents. And she's got an amazing one. And she just seems so sweet and warm and caring. And I love her videos. So go check her out if you don't already watch her videos. I watch The Water Whispers, and she's another one who's got an amazing accent. And she just has a very calming voice. I watch Jeannie B ASMR. She's a little bit newer, but she is older. Like, she refers to herself as kind of a grandma. She's probably, you know, in her, I don't know, 60s, but she's very, very comforting. She's got a great whisper voice. And then also, let's see, oh, and then actually the person who kind of inspired me to start making YouTube videos is an account named Glass Half Full ASMR. Glass Half Full ASMR. She is just such a cute, bubbly personality. She's a big Disney fan. She's also makes some amazing craft videos. So if you like watching people do crafts, if you like listening to people talk about Disney, she's checking those boxes. And to be honest, I'm not really into either of those things that much, but something about her talking about it is just like, I just feel like I'm talking to a best friend. I feel like I've known her a long time. And she's also, I think, only had her channel for about a year, so definitely give her a follow because she is so sweet. Okay, video games. Do I play video games? No, I don't think I had the, hand-eye coordination to play video games. I did watch my brother play a lot of video games growing up, and I remember he used to play like 007, and gosh, there was one that was like a little purple dragon. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Spyro? I don't know. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. But I used to like watching him play video games. I did play Mario Kart. I love me some Mario Kart. Something like kind of simple, like Mario Racing. I did play Super Smash Brothers growing up. That was always fun. We used to have a GameCube, and that was my favorite console to watch games on. Next question is, what got me into ASMR? The answer is, I don't really know what first made me feel tingles, except maybe just hearing people whisper. I think like most people would say, like when I was in class during school and hearing like a teacher whisper to another student, maybe while we're taking a test or something, that would always give me a tingle. And then in high school is when I started watching videos, but they weren't even ASMR videos. Like YouTube was still pretty new. And so I don't think ASMR had even really been put out on YouTube, but I watched makeup videos, primarily where the person doing them was like, most of the time they were from England and they had a British accent, and they weren't whispering or anything, but just kind of hearing them methodically talk about applying makeup, in a British accent would just send me off. And then I wish I could say I remember, but I don't remember when I came across my first true like ASMR branded video. I don't remember. But if I did, I will let you know. And it's kind of just been a journey from there. Like I go through like different seasons where I watch a bunch. I feel like I don't watch it as much now because I sleep next to my husband and he's very light, like he would hear it, but it's like a guilty pleasure of mine to watch it if he's like out of town or something. Also, I like to watch it at work, which I know sounds kind of funny because I've, wouldn't that put me to sleep? But it doesn't put me to sleep. It just really relaxes me and it almost like helps me focus on what I'm doing. So I love watching ASMR. Do I have any tattoos? No. I am really scared of needles, all the time. So I don't think a tattoo is in my future. I also don't know where I would put it, and I don't know what I would get it of. I've never come across anything where I'm like, ooh, I want that on my body forever. So tattoos just not for me. There are some funny questions on here, like this one. Is my shoe size different for sneakers versus normal shoes? Well, I'm glad you asked. I think that is a real thing. Like for sneakers, I definitely size up a little bit. Like I wear a size 8 in sneakers and a 7.5 like in sandals. Just because I think in sandals your feet obviously can, go, they have room and air to breathe. But in a sneaker, I feel like, especially if you're walking around a lot, your feet swell. And so you need that extra bit of room. Also, especially for like running shoes. Not that I have run recently, but when I did, I definitely had to get a size bigger because your feet are really going to swell. I also think that it's very common that like one foot is like a half size bigger. I know for me that is the case. It's my right foot, and I think that's because I'm right-handed and it's just like my dominant side. So I think maybe like more blood flows to that side, and therefore it's a little bit bigger. What countries would I like to visit? Well, I have only ever so outside of the United States where I live, I visited Mexico, Canada, and Italy. And I feel like I would love to see more of the world. My dream spot is to go to South Africa. I want to go on a safari so bad. And then after that, probably like England, France, I think like the Scandinavian countries like Norway, Sweden, those seem really nice. I would love to visit them. And also Australia would be really cool, but that is a long flight. So maybe one day, but Australia would be really cool. My favorite subject in school. Well, I was a history major in college, so obviously my favorite back then was history. I did nothing with my history degree, but I did love learning about it. In high school, though, I would probably say like Spanish. I loved learning different languages. I took Spanish and French, and I feel like I always like took to them really well. So definitely not math. I'm not a math or science person. I'm definitely more like a English, history, languages kind of person. So I also took like an AP psych class in high school, and that was pretty interesting. Okay, now moving on to the second set of questions from username It's 2022 Now. And I thought it was interesting that both of these accounts had like the year in their name. But that was interesting. So the first question is my goals for YouTube, and I would say just an outlet to talk to people, get to know people in the ASMR community, be able to show off my love and collecting of baby clothes, because let's be honest, nobody really cares about that outside of me and maybe some other moms. But yeah, you know, I would love to grow my following and see just where it takes me, but for now it's just kind of a fun thing. My biggest achievement, this is gonna sound really cheesy, but I think just having my daughter and keeping her alive. I mean, for real, like, raising a child is hard, and she just turned 1, so that feels like a big accomplishment. I also nursed her I still nurse her, so that's a big accomplishment. That's a lot of work. In a less cheesy way, I also got my paralegal certificate some years ago, and I did that while working full-time. And so looking back, that's a big achievement. The fact that I went and took this 18-month program of school to earn this, you know, kind of secondary certificate, all while working full-time. That was, looking back, I don't know, that took a lot. I remember I would get home, especially because the school was about an hour from where I lived, and the classes were from 7 to 10, so I would get home about 11, and those were long days. Sorry, there was no water in that basically, but I caught enough. My favorite movie. I love Phantom of the Opera. It's probably my favorite movie, and I've seen the play 3 times in person, and I just love that movie. I don't know, it just makes me so happy. I'm not a huge musical person, but there's just something about that one that I love. My favorite clothing store, this sounds super lame. I'm a big Target. I think Abercrombie and Fitch has some really nice stuff, but they're pricey, and I don't get it on sale. Where else? I used to be a huge J. Crew fan. That was all I wore, was pretty much J. Crew. Not so much anymore, but yeah, a lot of my stuff in my closet is from Target, and there's nothing wrong with that. Do I play an instrument? Not currently. I did used to play the violin in middle school for about 2 years, and I know I didn't appreciate it at the time, but it was a neat experience, and I wish I could go back and take better advantage of it. I kind of hated it, and I hated practicing like any 11-year-old child, but I would love to play the piano. That's one of my dreams, is to take piano lessons and learn to play the piano. What color? I actually am wearing socks right now. What color socks am I wearing? They are gray and pink. Did I play sports? One of my favorite teams. I never really played sports. I'm not very coordinated. I played softball for a little bit. Wasn't that great. Then but I did dance for a long time. My mom owned a dance studio growing up, and even after she sold it, I continued to dance. So I did that for a long time. My favorite sports teams, though, are the Braves baseball. I'm a big baseball fan, so we're Braves fans here. And then football, basketball, don't really care. I do enjoy watching hockey. I feel like I don't really have a hockey team. Where I live, we don't have a hockey team, so I do think it's fun to watch, though. Do my friends know about YouTube? My YouTube? No, they don't. it's not that I'm embarrassed, but, well, for one thing, a lot of people, if they don't know what ASMR is, then I feel like when I've described it to people who don't know what it is, if they've never felt it, then I think it weirds them out. So just don't need to get into all that, I guess. But if they found it on their own, I would be like more than happy to talk about it. What concerts have I seen? I've been to a lot of concerts. I've been to The Weeknd. I love The Weeknd. I've seen him. I've seen Elton John. I've seen Jason Aldean. I've seen Coldplay. They were amazing. I've seen Jason Mraz 3 times. I love Jason Mraz. I've seen Drake. Mostly I haven't been to a concert since before COVID, which is crazy to think about. Obviously, concerts didn't happen for like a full year, and then when they did, it's just not really in the budget right now to go to a concert, especially because tickets are just so expensive. This makes me sound like an old person, like grumpy old person, but I mean, I swear, like, they did not, you could get lawn seats for $40, $50 nowadays. Like, you're lucky to get lawn seats for $100. I don't know. Who else have I seen? I feel like I've seen some really good concerts. Oh, I saw Bruno Mars in Vegas, and he was so good. Definitely like top 3 concerts I've seen. I've seen John Mayer 3 times. I love John Mayer. Yeah, so I do love concerts. But I'm not the kind of person, like, I'm not gonna go to the Taylor Swift concert or Beyonce, like huge stadium shows like that. I really have only ever been to like one show like that, and that was Coldplay, and that was really cool. But yeah, I do prefer like somewhat smaller venue. Okay, here was a funny question, and it was about how best do I think a bear should be. If a bear was running around in my neighborhood, how would the best, most humane way be to catch it and deal with it? So my thoughts would be to tranquilize it, just so that way it calms down and you can get it under control, and then hopefully you can release it back into the forest where it belongs and where it has its family, hopefully. I'm a big animal lover, would never want to see it get hurt, but I think there's, you gotta tranquilize it, but I don't think that really hurts it. Just makes it sleepy, have a good sleep, and then it can wake up in the forest with its family, hopefully. There was a question about my favorite ASMR channels, which I did already answer. And then my dream job, which this is such an interesting question because I just honestly don't feel like I have a dream job. I used to think I did. Well, okay, I take that back. We're talking like true dream. Like, this will never happen because I don't have the education for this. But like, I'm a marine biologist, and that sounds nerd. Like, I don't even want to deal with all the science. I want to work at SeaWorld, and I want to like ride the dolphins and like do the performances with the whales and the dolphins and all that. Like, that's my dream. That's dream job. That's not gonna happen unless something really dramatically shifts my life and I go back to college and I learn, marine biology. I just don't see that happening. If there was like a attainable dream job, I really want to be able to work for myself. I think I've kind of come to the point where I realized that I'm just kind of over having a set schedule. I want to make my own hours, and I just want to choose, I don't feel good today, I'm not going to work, or, I'm going on this trip, and, being able to work anywhere and just kind of be flexible and not have a boss and all that stuff. And I know that does also come with a lot of work. I'm kind of learning that because I am starting to pursue a side gig where do virtual assisting and just all the ramifications of like, you know, setting up your like tax ID number, and you have to have like a business, you know, bank account and invoicing for your time, and it's a lot of work. But I think once you set up those processes, then it's not as bad. Yeah, so I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful that in like, you know, 3 years from now, that I am able to make the amount of money I want to make by doing kind of side gigs and, you know, projects that I want to take on. And it's just kind of like at my own pace and not, you know, a Monday through Friday, 40 hours a week job. I think I'm kind of, now that I have a child, I just don't want that kind of like restraint on me, if that makes sense. Okay, that's the last question, which is, do I have any pets? And sadly, I don't. I love animals. This is like the first time really in my life. These last couple years have been the first time in my life that I haven't had a pet. Just due to a lot of different circumstances. I've had several dogs over the years, particularly a couple of dachshunds. Those are like near and dear to my heart. They're so sweet, they're so smart. The dachshunds I've had, they use their smarts mostly for evil. They know right from wrong, and they choose wrong a lot of times, but I don't know, there's something about them, I just love them so much. We are moving soon, and we're gonna have a house. We're moving with my dad, and I actually thought maybe that would be an interesting video to talk about moving in with a parent when you're at an age where maybe that's not the norm to be moving back in with your parents, especially because it's me, my husband, and my daughter who are moving in with my dad. My dad will be living alone, and well, currently my brother lives with him, and he's moving to another state, and kind of just to keep my dad from getting really lonely, plus to help me and my husband save a lot of money on rent. We are going to be moving in with him for the foreseeable future. I don't know how long that's going to be. I think in my head it started out as like, oh, we'll only be here for like 6 months, and kind of the more I look at the housing market, I'm like, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, I don't know. I really don't know what's gonna happen. But I thought that might be an interesting topic to discuss that. Just like what that looks like moving back in with a parent. I also do know more people who are doing that. I do know more people who are doing that because, y'all, the housing market, I feel like it's in most areas of the country, the housing market right now is insane. And I don't, props to anybody who bought a house recently or has their own home. I'm very envious. I would love to have a house. I currently live in an apartment, which is another reason why we don't have a dog. But it's a question spurred this discussion, but when we live with my dad, we have a bigger house and a fenced-in backyard and plenty of like walking trails, and I am hopeful that maybe in 2024 we get a dog. I really want like a little bit older of a dog, like 2 or 3. You know, don't get me wrong, I love puppies, but I don't want to do any potty training or training of really any kind. I want a dog, you know, I'm gonna get it from the animal shelter, and I just want a dog maybe that like gets passed over, just like a sweet little mutt, maybe like 40 pounds, 50 pounds, something like not huge, but a great dog you can like take on adventures, you know. So that's probably one of my dreams and wishes for 2024. So I'm excited for the future. I don't know what it's going to hold, honestly. I feel like 2024 is going to have a lot of interesting things and changes. Good. I think mostly good. You know, who knows? There might be a few bad thrown in there, but fingers crossed there won't. But anyways, I am done with all the questions, and I wanted to say thank you again to those two commenters. That really means a lot, and I had a lot of fun making this video, and now I'm going to go to sleep, and I hope you're going to go to sleep